Hey, it's Onesto, and in this video, we're gonna look at Izotope's brand new plugin, Neoverb. Whenever a plugin is released, it's always a good idea to watch a walkthrough to see how the plugin works, to see what its capabilities are. But today, instead of a demo, I wanna show you how to get the most out of Neoverb. Let's hear our loop that we have here. There is no reverb happening on any of this stuff, so it's gonna sound really weird. Yeah, it sounds so bad, but it's kind of, we're going to start adding reverb and it's going to sound great by the end of it, which is good. So right now let's focus on the vocals. So this vocal is going to be, it's 2 layers. It's a dry vocal with a vocoded layer. If you want to know how to use vocoder, I have a video that you can watch. I had a lot of fun making a vocoder on. But let's hear it. It's super dry. It's going to sound gross.
I see you there. You're standing in a crowd.
Yep, there is no reverb on that. So we need to add reverb. Let me make this bigger because it's way too small. So the first best way to use Neoverb, I just want to get this one out of the way. The most obvious and boring one, which is to use your reverb assistant. You've probably seen it on a bunch of other videos, but I want to show it here in case you haven't watched a bunch of other videos. And what's so great about it? Reverb assistant breaks down reverb the way you would describe it in the most simplistic and non-user producery way. So it's like, hey, do you want your reverb to sound realistic or dramatic? Easy to understand. Do you want it to be in a small space or an extra large space? Do you want the tone of it to be clean, dark, bright, and airy, etc.? And then you can adjust the dry, wet. And I like this so much because I am a bedroom producer. I am not this like professional like sound science person. I don't want to know about the scientifics behind reverb. I just want to know how I can make it sound good. So this is what really helps. So let me play this and you can live preview it. So realistic sounds realistic, dramatic sounds bigger, and all that good stuff. And I like the bright tone for the most part. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I just want to keep it there, and then what you do is keep letting it play, or audio play, and you hit next. And this is going to do 2 things. It's going to do this auto cut and unmasking, which those things together help your reverb sound cleaner and less muddy. And it does it all by itself, which is great. So typically when you have a reverb on something like super important, like a vocal, you want to have this like pre-EQ. You want to determine like what parts should we roll off or accentuate that goes into the reverb to prevent it from sounding like gross and muddy. I'm going to bring my dry wet up to 100, turn off my reverb EQ, and just focus on this so you can hear a difference. That's on, just off. So you can really hear there's a lot of low end in that. And that can sound muddy and boomy and gross and stuff. But then it rolls it off all for you. And it sounds cleaner. And if you think to yourself, like, that's too much of a change, you can adjust this slider here. And don't be afraid to mess with these like points. Yeah, just use your own judgment and tweak it however you see fit. And because it's your song. And this reverb EQ here, what this is doing is this is dipping out some frequencies in the wet reverb tail. And once again, this is allowing your dry and your wet signals to play well together. This is with it on. Let me bring this back in actually.
I see you.
On, this is off.
I see you.
It can range from being subtle to extreme where it's like, oh, that makes a big difference. I love just doing the auto masking because it just does it for me and does it in a way that's pretty sufficient. All right, cool. So that is the reverb assistant. That's like the first best way I want to talk about. The second best way is let's focus on what things should we modulate. So here's some things that I like to modulate. I like to modulate this right here, like this XY, creative XY interface here that goes from medium to dramatic to realistic. So I like to move this around. And when it gets to a more of like a pause, maybe I'll bring it over here so the reverb kind of grows and gets bigger. And if I want to have like a moment of drama where like all the reverb cuts out, I'll bring it up here and modulate it. Another fun thing to do is this mod XY interface here. And what this is doing is adding some almost like a chorus frequency shifting effect, really subtle, to the reverb tail. Of course, messing with the dry wet over time are all things that you can modulate. But in this demonstration, I just want to show you what it can look like when you mess with this reverb blender here. Great. Let's hear it.
I see you there. You're standing in a crowd, eyes are looking down. You don't know how beautiful you are. You don't know how beautiful you are.
And then now let's modulate this little thing here. I like it on this one, which is Izotope calls it like a more subtle version of a Doppler style frequency shifter. Left and right, we're affecting the rate of that frequency shifting or modulation. And then up and down is affecting the depth. So once again, let's modulate this.
I see you there. You're standing in a crowd, eyes are looking down. You don't know how beautiful you are. You don't know how beautiful you are.
Oh, look at all these fun little dots. Okay, so the third best way that I like to use Neoverb is making use of these DAW sync, these tempo sync buttons here. My gosh, they make your life so much easier when you're trying to apply reverb onto something that's rhythmic. So the things that you can tempo sync up is a reverb tail, the decay time of that, and also your pre-delay. So let me show you without the DAW sync. We're messing with like a percussion kind of loop. Here, I'll just show you the before. So is there reverb on this? Yes. The problem I'm hearing is that it sounds a little messy and muddy, and we don't want that. So wouldn't it be nice if that reverb tail would decay like this little rhythm here decays right before we get start all over again, so the reverb stay clean and neat. So what I'm going to do is hit this, and now suddenly that reverb tail time, decay time is set in these like this time signature. So from here to here is like it's half of a measure. So what I wanted to do is by the time this strikes, I want that reverb tail to decay fully before the next rhythmic section here. So we'll have it half, and we'll hear it. So suddenly we can hear the rhythm so much better, and it sounds tighter. Like there's reverb on there, but it's not overpowering it like it did before. Yeah, that's way too much reverb. Like on its own, if it's the only thing playing in your track, you'll enjoy it and it sounds nice and stuff. But once you add in other instruments, that reverb tail is going to start just interfering with all your other samples and instruments and vocals. And we do not want that. Yeah, that sounds so much better. And then the next thing I want to do is add the time sync on the pre-delay. This is what pre-delay is doing. So let's say your transient hits, your dry signal hits, and then if your reverb hits at the same time, they kind of, the reverb kind of swallows up your transients a bit. Let me show you what I mean. So pretty much we have like no pre-delay. So the reverb and the transients are hitting at the exact same time. But if I want those transients to come through, I bring up my pre-delay. Not by a whole lot, because the transients are really short. So maybe 164 dot. Let's hear how that sounds. So suddenly the striking of the transients are back, and it's all because of this. So this is no pre-delay with pre-delay. No pre-delay. Yeah, so it just sounds like just shinier, and it has like that strike again, which is really good. Cool. I think that sounds pretty good.
I see you there. You're standing in a crowd, eyes are looking down. You don't know how beautiful you are.
Yeah, we totally forgot to adjust the dry wet there.
How beautiful you are.
Here's the next best way to use Neoverb, and it is using the masking detection to make sure that other instruments aren't masking one another with the reverb. So what I want to focus on are the vocals and piano. So there's a bit more heavy reverb on both of these sounds, and they also kind of occupy the same frequency space. So this is how this sounds together.
I see you there, just standing in the crowd, eyes are looking down.
Because I want the vocals to be the dominant thing, I'm going to go to the piano, and in the piano Neoverb, I'm going to go over to Reverb EQ, and then look for vocals, master Neoverb. So I'm going to play this, and it's going to show here with like white lines, and if it's really bad, we'll get like these little red lines coming through. That shows you where the masking could be happening.
I see you there, just standing in the crowd, eyes are
So all right here.
down. You don't know.
Yeah, so it's pretty much right here is where the vocals is messing with the piano. So I'm gonna grab this knob, this node here, just dip it.
I see you there, just standing in the crowd, eyes are looking down.
So you see how there's like less white lines? So that means that there's less masking happening. Maybe I can bring it up a little bit because you don't want to go too much.
I see you there, just standing in the crowd, eyes are looking down. You don't know how beautiful you are.
Great, so you can hear it being just unmasked. So this is without it. So pretty much my piano is going to have a lot of gross reverb just coming through, messing with the vocals, and then I'll turn it back on and we'll save it again.
I see you there, just standing in the crowd, eyes are looking down.
Yeah, so the piano is like starting to dominate the moment. So we're gonna turn on the reverb or reverb EQ, and I'll help it out a bit.
I see you there, just standing in the crowd, eyes are looking down. You don't know how beautiful you are. You don't know how beautiful you are.
Cool, so I probably have a little bit too much. I'm gonna ease up on it. Yeah, so that's sounding better. So that's another way that I love to use Neoverb is by allowing these Izotope plugins to talk to one another and to tell me where there is some masking going on. And this is a cool thing with Izotope. They really make it their mission to allow mixing and mastering and even some effects to just allow like an amateur like me to get a pro sounding mix and mastering. And it makes it super easy, like dead easy to do. And they make it really visual. Super wonderful. So those are the 6 best ways to use Neoverb. And as you're messing with this plugin at home, please let me know of any creative ways that you discover in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and like it, and please subscribe so I can keep showing you all the best things that I discover about music production. And I'll see you later.